What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Entertainment Plaza Games, where you will get your weekly dose of video game news. I am your host, Moses de la Hoya, Jusino Pedro Santo González, Santiago Plaza Segundo, and I'm with my brother.
What's up? What's up? It's Brian, guys. We do got some good old news for you today. So I hope everybody got a big old seat, got
Yeah,
some
man.
popcorn, because this is going to be a dope one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Before we get started, remember, you're watching live on twitch.tv/the Entertainment Plaza. If you cannot watch live or don't want to watch it live, go check us out on youtube.com/the Entertainment Plaza or just search the Entertainment Plaza podcast. And if you want to get this in audio form, you can catch us on all your favorite podcast services. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon, any one of those. Just search for the Entertainment Plaza podcast and you can listen to our podcast on there. One thing you can do to help us, you can like and subscribe on YouTube and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. That will really help us. It'll help people find our podcast, and it really does go a long way. But with that being said, today we have 6 stories for you. We have PlayStation buys another developer. GameSpot puts out their top 10 games according to Metacritic. Also, Uncharted is now the 5th highest grossing video game film of all time. You can play Xbox on your Steam Deck. I knew that was coming. We also have some Elden Ring news. And we have, what's your last news there, Brian?
So we actually have a little surprise that most
Oh,
people
yes,
weren't
yes, yes.
expecting to come out on Switch.
Yeah.
So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to be going over that a little bit later in today's podcast.
Yeah, and just a little teaser. Actually has something to do with what someone asked on the last video game news. What was that? Friday, I think it was. So, but
Yeah.
anyways, without further ado, we get into our first story. PlayStation buys another developer. Now, Brian, man, this has been going on for. I mean, the big one was Xbox, right? They acquired Activision Blizzard, and then PlayStation acquired Blue Point. They acquired somebody recently, a couple months
Was
ago.
Bungie, I
Bungie,
think,
yes, the
that
maker
did
of
Halo.
Destiny,
Yeah.
Destiny 2. They acquired them. That's huge. And now they acquired Haven Studios, which is actually led by an ex Assassin's Creed boss named Jade Raymond. Eddie McCooch from GameSpot writes, Sony buys Haven, which is making a AAA multiplayer game set in a new universe. Sony Interactive Entertainment is buying a gaming veteran Jade Raymond's new studio. The name, Haven, and a move that comes after the two companies announced plans to work together on a new IP. This new IP is a AAA multiplayer experience for PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 ain't known for too many multiplayer games, so that's good news. PlayStation's Herman Holst made the announcement on the PlayStation blog today, saying Jade Raymond brings a wealth of experience from her industry achievements and a passion for creating games. And the leadership team at Haven is an equally impressive group of industry veterans who have collaborated on some of the biggest and most beloved games and franchises that many of us still enjoy today, Holst said. As for Haven's first game, Holst didn't give anything away, but said the company was on board from the first pitch. Holst said PlayStation was inspired by Haven's vision for creating a modern multiplayer experience that brings gamers together in a positive and meaningful ways. Um, what else here? Let's see. But yeah, how do you feel about this, man? It's like, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, not so much Nintendo. I know Nintendo just acquired a developer that helped make their games throughout the years.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is crazy, man. It's like they're buying studios left and right, man. How do you feel about this?
I'm definitely excited, and I'm also definitely excited for more multiplayer games coming to PS5. I have now 3 of my friends that, we all got PS5s at the same time, and maybe 1 or 2 games we're able to actually play together that are PS5 games. We've been playing a lot of PS4, Fortnite, stuff like that, because it's multiplayer.
Right.
And what better to do with your guys than play games together. PS5 doesn't really have a lot of that. Now what they do have, I got to give it to them, they are phenomenal with the adaptive triggers and everything. It really makes it feel like you're trying.
Right.
So I'm happy for it.
Yeah, same here, man. I I'm glad they're coming out, and supposedly it's like a live service game. So hopefully
Hmm.
it does come out, and it can compete with a lot of these other live service games. But let's see. Sony isn't known for that, so if they can
Right.
actually come out and hit this one out the park, I mean, they're really going to give Xbox and all these independent developers a run for their money. So, I
Oh yeah.
personally, the only live service game I think I really play right now is Halo. If you can even call that a live service game at the moment, but you know, I I am I'm clamoring for a game that would actually capture my attention and something I can keep playing
Right.
for. I know there's people that play 900 hours on some games. So it's I'm hoping to find something like that one of these days. But
Yeah,
um,
the console wars are definitely starting to heat up. I'll give you that.
right,
They're going neck and neck. Xbox getting people. We were like, oh man, Xbox just pulled ahead, and then all of a sudden, friggin' PlayStation, Sony comes out of nowhere and is like, you know what? Give me Bungie, and we're like, they just
right,
took Halo from
exactly,
them. They just took Destiny. Like, what's going on?
exactly.
And man, for a minute there, everything was all over the place, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to keep hearing what's going on.
Yeah, man, I feel the same way, man. I really hope they pull it out. I've always been a PlayStation fanboy. I hope that they can pull this out. Don't get me wrong, I love my Xbox, and like I said before, where Halo's at is where I'm at right now. But if they can pull this out, oh well, Gylan Brown, who is one of our co-hosts and one of the other podcasts, says, "Give me God of War," and I agree 100%. Give me some more God of War, man. I'm all for it.
Such a good game.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. Story number 2. Actually, do you want to go into your Elden Ring news real quick?
Yeah. So, for many console players, as you guys know, Elden Ring did come out recently, and it definitely took off right away. People loved it. It was basically just like another Souls game. Some people are saying it's harder. A lot of people are saying it's slightly easier now that you kind of have a feel for what you're doing. Since its release, there has been so many things that are coming out. People are finding hidden pathways, 50 hit doors that only open once you hit them 50 times.
Oh, I've heard
You're able to
about that.
leave things. Yeah, you're able to leave things over the map that basically talk to a player in the open world. And a lot of them, you guys need to look into them. They are just jokes on top of jokes. The dog meme is everywhere in Elden Ring. Okay.
That's funny.
But as of recently, it seems like some hackers have found a way to literally destroy your save file. Now,
Wow.
this is only on PC. So any of you console players, you don't have to worry about anything as of now. As we know so far, nothing's been going on um, with the console verse. But a what ends up happening is when you are being invaded on Elden Ring, um, somehow they're able to basically freeze your entire game.
Hmm.
They crash your server. And what ends up happening is you have to reload your file
Right.
and you have to get back in the game obviously because you can't do anything. Um all of a sudden you're stuck in a constant death loop or a falling animation. And that's it. You're just stuck there. Absolutely nothing can be done about it. There's been a lot of people out of luck with no help. Nobody's been, figuring out a way on how to get out of it. But it seems like one Redditor, unfortunately, I didn't have the time to get his name. He's saying that if you quickly close the game right after you start it, so hit Alt F4 like immediately, it's going to close out. You're going to be able to reload, and then you have to quickly open up your map to fast travel. That's within, I mean, seconds of
Wow.
starting up your game. So not many people can pull it off, especially if your dexterity isn't all there. Um, as of now, that's the only known way to break out of the hack. Hopefully, some updates will come out and stuff, so where they'll definitely smoothen that out. But that's really all my Elden Ring news. Hopefully, all you PC players are staying safe out there because these hackers are getting malicious
Yo, for
for
real, man.
sure.
For real. So yeah, man, Elden Ring, it's crazy. I just heard they sold over 12 million copies of that game. Mind you, it hasn't even been out
Yep.
a month yet. Hasn't even been out a month. And I listen to a bunch of podcasts. There's people who already have 90 to 100 hours in that game, and they barely scratch the surface. So that's one
Yep.
that, man, it's like, like Gylan said on the chat, he said that he's scared to pull the trigger on that one. And it's true, man. Like, how do you, one, where do you find the time to play a game of that caliber? There's
Right.
so many hours that you have to invest in it. And then they don't do anything about, one thing I heard about Souls game is that they don't hold your hand.
Not at all.
We can go into any game right now, and there'll be at least a half-hour tutorial on what to do with the game. Souls games, I've never played any because, quite frankly, I'm scared of the difficulty. You can't change them really. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
apparently, Elden Ring is a little bit, I guess, a little easier compared to other Souls
Yeah,
games,
a
is
little
what they're
easy
saying.
going.
Yeah, but
Yep.
there was talking about easy. Ghana just said that he heard someone say they got jumped by 5 full-grown dragons. So I guess it ain't that easy. You know
It
what I mean?
happens. There are
Yeah,
bears in that game that are well over 8 feet tall.
yeah, that's
My
nuts.
friend calls them F off bears
Yeah, no,
because
that's
they
crazy.
literally keep up with your horse. I
Yeah,
mean, it's terrifying.
yeah, that's crazy. So have you played it at all?
I haven't. I've
Okay,
actually watched my friend play it. And he tells me, everything that's been going on in the game and
right,
everything.
right.
There's the angels and stuff that are in there, and he's also been telling me that people have literally um like speed run this game like already.
Oh,
There's
I've heard.
level
Yeah, yeah,
ones.
I've heard
Yeah,
that.
people that literally have no runes whatsoever
Right.
speed run the game in a couple hours and just completely beat it.
Wow.
Level one, straight off the bat. Like people are absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I've actually heard about that. Hitting that wall 50 times. Like, who thinks about doing that? You know what I mean? Like, who thinks
Yeah,
about, let me hit this wall 15 times and see or 50 times, not 15, 50
yeah,
times. You know what
it's
I mean?
ridiculous.
So, yeah, that's nuts, man. I really do want to try and get into it, but man, I'm just like, ah, man, do I have the time? Do I have the patience? Do I really want to get into this? And I actually can get frustrated very easily. So yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. Time will tell if I'll get into it. Hopefully, it comes to Xbox Game Pass, and I'll definitely jump on it and try it out.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man. Moving on to story number two. GameSpot list, or number three, I'm sorry. GameSpot lists their top 10 games of all time according to Metacritic. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read some of the top 10 games that, according to Metacritic, have scored the highest. Now, these are games that scored a 97 or more on the Metascore. So, it starts with, and I actually couldn't believe this, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 with a 98. Grand Theft Auto 4 with a 98, Soul Calibur with a 98, Super Mario Galaxy with a 97, Mario Galaxy 2 with a 97, Red Dead Redemption 2 with a 97, Grand Theft Auto 5 with a 97. Well, the rest of these are going to have 97s. Disco Elysium, The Final Cut, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. The fact that Tony Hawk is in 2 of the top 10 is mind boggling. Perfect Dark for the N64, Metroid Prime, Grand Theft Auto 3, Super Mario Odyssey, and then Halo Combat Evolved. Oh, and then NFL 2K21. That's crazy. That can't be 2K. That has to be. No, that's not 2K21. That has to be 2K1. That's like 2001. So, 20 years
Yeah.
ago, a football game actually got a 97 medal score. So, you know, first of all, what do you feel about this list? Because I definitely have my thoughts. Like I said, Tony Hawk Pro Skater twice on here, Grand Theft Auto 3 times on here. That's
Yeah.
kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Hawk, it was a good game. I loved it. There wasn't really too much to do. Obviously, it's kind of a skating game. It's the basis of it. You skate.
Right.
GTA, I mean, you kind of have to give GTA its props. Game came
Yeah.
from literally nothing, and now it's probably one of the biggest games to where now GTA 5 has been ported 3 times
Yo, tell
to
me about
three
it.
different consoles. It's
Yeah, it's
insane.
nuts.
Um, now, I think it was Soul Calibur you mentioned. I can definitely see Soul Calibur being up there in that top three because me personally, I absolutely love that game. I used
Really?
to play it on GameCube
Mm.
so much, and actually I ended up with a special edition Soul Calibur 4, I believe it
Hmm.
was, where Link was actually in it.
Oh, that's
Um,
right. That's right.
yeah, and you could, I mean, Link was crazy overpowered in that game. Still didn't talk, still did all his grunts and everything,
Right.
which made it great, but it sounded way worse than the actual Zelda games. So,
Wow. So, all right, let me ask you this: if you were to make, say, let's just two or three games, what would be two or three games on your top 10?
see, like out of that list
No,
or
out of
just in
any
general?
in general, two or three games that you would put on this list, and then which games would you take out?
All right, let me see.
I'm putting you on the spot, so
Yeah, yeah. I definitely gotta say Mario's gonna be in my top three. It's a classic. You can't go
which
wrong with
one?
it.
Which Mario?
Um, ooh, which Mario? Okay, so I played Odyssey a little bit. Odyssey was really good.
Yeah, I loved
I did
Odyssey.
like it. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, they weren't bad. I just didn't go to them as much as Odyssey.
Hmm.
So I think I'm gonna have to put Odyssey maybe at like the number one spot.
Wow,
Um,
like number one all time for you?
another, yeah, like number
Okay,
one, like all time. It was a really, really good game.
right.
Um, and then another one for me is gonna have to be Super Smash Bros.
Mm.
Um, that's, you know,
Oh, I
I
know, man. I
played
know.
the heck out of that game. Um, I got the new one for the Switch, and I still play it all the time. I'm gonna have to chalk that up at my number two. It's just another classic. I've played it since, it was on NES. I've emulated it on my PC. Um, and let me see, for my number three spot, I'm
I would
gonna
say
have to
I
go
remember before
for.
you answer number three, man. I remember so
Mhm.
we had the game night at our boy
Oh my
Pichardo's
God,
house,
yeah.
and man, that was so much fun. I actually have a video still on the YouTube channel of that game night when you and Buddy's brother killed all of
Hmm.
us. We played what was it, pairs, right? We had a little
Yep,
tournament,
yep. We did
and you were
doubles.
playing on your damn 3DS, bro. Like you whooped all our
Yep.
asses on a Nintendo 3DS, and I'm over here sweating, almost breaking my controller. I mean, I was, don't get me wrong, I'm not the best at many games, but I love them
Yeah.
regardless, you know. But yeah, man, I can see why that's number two for you. But number three,
Yep.
what was number three?
Whew. Number three, I'm gonna have to go back to. I'm gonna have to go to the PS4. I see. Well, Gylan in the chat just said Mario Kart definitely deserves to be up there, and I can give it that. But for my
Oh,
top,
Mario Kart, yeah,
yeah,
man.
I'm gonna have to put that at like maybe number four. Um, but for my number three spot, going back to PS4, like I said, it's hard. It's gonna be between um Metal Gear Rising. Oh no, sorry, Metal Gear Rising was on PS3, I think.
Yes,
Metal Gear
yep.
Rising, yeah, Metal Gear Rising, I loved. I remember whenever I went on vacation, I took it with me, and I spent like hours like on my PS3. Um, and that's gonna be fighting with Uncharted.
Oh,
Uncharted is just it's so good. You can't go wrong with the storytelling,
right, right.
the action, it's a beautiful game, and
Yeah.
I've played them all. Um, so it's definitely a hard choice for me between the two, but I'm gonna have to put Uncharted in that
Yeah.
number three spot.
So for me, man, I can't really tell you 1 through 10 or anything like that, but Mario Kart has always been like a staple in my life. When that, I was really into it for the GameCube. Double Dash, I loved it. Like I can still play that today, even at game nights. When we have game nights, Double Dash always comes, first before Mario Kart 8. Now Mario
Yeah,
Kart 8, I freaking love Mario Kart 8. Like me and the wife, we always play Mario Kart 8 battle mode and all that stuff. So Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart in general, top 10. God of War, oh my goodness, for the PS5 or PS4 God of War, the reboot or the whatever they call it. Oh my
remaster.
goodness,
Yeah,
that's definitely up there for me. Spider-Man Miles Morales. That
Oh
one
my,
is damn. Like I can play that game. I think I've beaten that already 3 times. You know what I mean? Got the platinum,
Jesus.
everything. So that game is just, and then it just it touches right here, man. Boricua.
Yeah.
From the heart, Puerto Rico. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yep. Viva
So
Puerto
yes,
Rico.
sir. So Guy named Brown said, "I wish I could play that game." You know why he says that? Because I was supposed to let him borrow that about 7.5 months ago, and it's still sitting here on my shelf. So
Nice.
he also said that he also said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You only won teams. You didn't win the singles." I don't remember him winning singles either, so we'll have to see about that.
If
But
y'all want to run it
yeah,
back,
we're
I'll
gonna have to.
scratch
We're
you
gonna have
again.
to. We have to run it back.
But
So we can run it back. I'll start practicing right now. I'll take my switch to work. My breaks. Boom, let's go. So
I got it right there. I'll do it.
but so all right, so I said Miles Morales, God of War, Mario Kart. Man, for me, and again, this is personal. My fondest memories come with Uncharted. All the Uncharted games. I freaking love them. Believe it or not, even Madden. Like, I'm not so much into sports games now like I used to be. I'm more into the narrative stuff, but
Mhm.
Madden used to take up so much of my time, and a lot of my good memories, or even bad memories, especially Madden. That's the one game that made me want to break my controller the most. But playing my cousins, who he's a Cowboys fan, I'm an Eagles fan. We're playing each other, and it's just like, oh man, so many good memories there. What else? I can't. There's just so many games, man. Obviously you play so many games over the years, but um, oh, that's right. Galen said so. Obviously, a lot of people know I've known Galen for, I mean, sheesh, 34 years. But he said 2007 Madden and Live for us, man. When we were in college, it was just Madden and NBA Live at the dorms all day. Another one, Halo right now is creeping up there to my top 10. I haven't loved a Halo or a multiplayer game at that. Again, I'm
Mhm.
single player narrative. I haven't loved a multiplayer game like that in probably a decade. So that's creeped up there. And then, Gears of War. That's another one that,
Yep.
when something I can have fun with my friends, man, that's what I love. But honestly, I feel like, comes to mind, we should really do like a top 10 type video one of these days where, 3 or 4 of
For
us, or
sure.
even, we one episode for you, top 10, one episode for me, top 10. But, um, oh,
All right, hold
yeah.
on. You see,
Go
you
ahead.
see Bob right there in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Twitch chat. Yeah, he remembers me beating y'all. I love you, Bob.
Guylan said Contra holds a space in my heart. Yeah, I did love the first Contra for the NES and Streets of Rage. Those beat 'em ups always, man. They were amazing. But yeah, this top 10 on the Metacritic, like I get it. It's more. This isn't saying it's the top 10 games of all time, right? It's more so saying it's the top 10 rated games. So these were what Metacritic does is it takes all the reviews and then it averages it out. So that's the average of all the reviews that were submitted to Metacritic from different outlets, different journalists and stuff like that. I can see Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 3 was like an industry game changer. That changed the
Yeah.
industry forever. Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and then San Andreas, just followed those footsteps. Grand Theft Auto 4 took that to another level. So I could see how that's, you know, again, very highly rated. And then GTA 5, I mean, my goodness, 3 generations in and
Yeah.
it's still going strong. It looks better than ever. So I could see that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and 3. Yes, great games. But top 10 games of all time? Nah, I don't think so. Not in my opinion, at least. You know what I mean? Soul
I feel
Calibur,
you.
hate to say it, but that first one, I never played it. I remember you had it. I think you still have it, probably, right?
Probably it's
Yeah,
probably on
so,
my GameCube game somewhere.
right. Super Mario Galaxy, Galaxy 2. I mean, let's be honest. Nintendo puts out great games.
Oh my
Again,
god, yeah.
won't be in my top 10, but they are great games. So I can see how they were reviewed really well. Red Dead Redemption 2. So, story with this, I bought that game day one. I played 3 hours, haven't touched it since. I've always said I want to go back and just play the game, the story mode, but we'll see. That'll probably never happen. Disco Elysium's the final cut. This is a game. It doesn't look like a game that's my style, but I've heard so many good things about this game. Like I really want to check it out. It's I don't know. It's something about this game that just really I feel like I'm gonna like it. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Right.
It's It says on here that Disco Elysium is for fans of thought-provoking writing, flawed characters, and an atmospheric soundtrack. Excuse me. Disco Elysium is a must-play game. It's a neo-noir detective story. It also says detective story with an entire library of dialogue to sift through. It says, but one that remains captivating with its cast of damaged heroes and unique gameplay systems where your chosen flaws shape the story around you. Every character has a story to tell, and by the time you get to the bottom of this murder mystery, the absurd adventure will leave a lasting impression on you. Only the Final Cut version of Disco Elysium qualifies for this list. Admittedly, its score isn't based on a ton of reviews, but many praise the game's writing as some of the best ever in a game, so it feels like it earns its spot here. Disco Elysium actually has a really interesting story as well, because that actually this game is based off of a book. It's not off of the same name, and again, I heard this in other podcasts and news stories that I've listened to, but the writer of the book actually went down this, deep dark hole where the book didn't sell well at all. He became an alcoholic. He wasn't doing well. He was approached about making a game off the book, and the game is like a freaking hit, man. Like everybody loves it. So it was nice hearing that feel good story. But I think this is one I'm going to definitely, I said I wanted to play more indie games this year. That was one of my New Year's gaming resolutions, and I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna start with this one.
Hearing that, actually, sorry to cut you off.
No, no problem.
Um, Hearing that kind of gives me um a feel of kind of what Five Nights at Freddy's was. Now I don't know. I didn't haven't really seen much on the game. But from what you were just kind of explaining how the author was and how he was approached to make it. If not many of you guys know what's been happening with Five Nights at Freddy's, it's basically like a Chuck E. Cheese if you've ever had it.
Yeah,
There's animatronics out, all that other stuff, but there's a really deep, dark story behind these animatronics. Um, and the author, or the creator of the games, his name's Scott Cawthon. As he was making the games, he was literally getting terrified of his own games. He would have nightmares of his games, and he ended up coming out with, I think, I forget exactly what it was called. It was kind of like a circus type place with the new animatronic was named Baby. She was like the center of his nightmares. And he got approached. He made a book for it. There's a book out. And as far as I know, there's also going to be a Five Nights at Freddy's movie coming out.
oh, I've heard that.
Um, yeah, I'm not too sure exactly when. But in the midst of all this, he dropped another FNAF game, Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. If you guys haven't seen it, heard of it, or anything, watch it. It's a phenomenal game, and it takes open world kind of. Um, it's beautiful, and it gives a lot of lore. So definitely look into it. But that's kind of what it gave me the vibes of.
Nice, yeah, yeah, definitely. I've never played any Five Nights at Freddy's, but I have watched some gameplay on YouTube, and it's something that like I'm satisfied watching the gameplay as opposed to playing
Yeah.
it. So you know what I mean. I feel
Yep.
like I got everything I needed to get from the gameplay.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man. So let's see what else was on there. So Zelda Breath of the Wild, I think that definitely deserves to be a top 10 game of all time. That's another one that a lot of people say, "Oh, this game has influences from Zelda." You hear that so much. Even Elden Ring is the same thing.
Yeah.
Influences from Zelda. So definitely, I still haven't beaten that. I know Alicia, our sister, beat it probably a few times.
She created 3 accounts
Yeah,
and
nah,
beat it on all 3 accounts.
nah. I just need to beat it once. You know what I mean? That's it. Or maybe
Yeah.
watch her play it the fourth time. Then Perfect Dark is on there. Metroid Prime, which was amazing, and hopefully that the remaster comes out soon. Grand Theft Auto 3, Super Mario Odyssey, and then Halo Combat Evolved. So I never beat the original for the original Xbox because I didn't have it as a kid or as a young teenager. But I did beat it when it came out with the remastered version
Mhm.
later, on like Xbox One and stuff like that. And yeah, I could see again that was one of those games that redefined the industry. A first-person shooter on a controller as opposed to PC gaming. So, and then lastly, NFL 2K1. That's crazy that that's on there. A football game rated that high. I don't have much to say because I've always been NFL Game Day back for PlayStation 1, and then Madden after that, after Game Day went away. So, but Yeah, that was a good topic, man. I actually really liked talking about that one there. But moving on to the next story. Uncharted is now the fifth highest grossing video game movie of all time. Have you watched it yet?
I haven't. A
So,
lot of people were telling me not to,
nah,
and
nah,
I'm
man. So,
leery.
no, no, no. Go watch it. It's a good movie. It's a great video game movie. Again,
Okay.
I never listen to people when they say, hey, this movie's bad or this movie's good, whatever. I can usually find the good from a bad movie, anyways, but
Mhm.
it is actually really well done. Tom Holland's great. Mark Wahlberg, not so much. He's Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg plays Mark Wahlberg and everything. So
Right.
he was
Yeah.
a horrible Sully. I did not. I just didn't. That was a sore point of this movie.
Mhm.
I didn't like him as Sully, and that kind of it didn't ruin the movie at all because the movie was great. But yeah, so Eddie McCooch again from GameSpot says Sony's Uncharted movie continues to climb the charts. The Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg film, based on Naughty Dog's popular action adventure series, is now the fifth highest grossing video game movie of all time. It's now made 337.3 million globally, surpassing 2010's Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, which made 336 million, to rank fifth on the all-time charts for video game movies. Uncharted still trails the Angry Birds movie at 352.3 million, Rampage 428 million, Detective Pikachu 433 million, and Warcraft at 439 million. Um, but it is the highest grossing film in the US. So all those other movies did really well overseas, where Uncharted did
Yeah.
really well here and overseas. So they're actually
Good.
saying it says while Uncharted might rank fifth globally, the film is the third highest grossing video game. Oh, third highest, not the highest. Video game film ever in the U.S., and that's important. Uncharted has made $125.9 million in the U.S., or 37.3% of its global gross from the domestic market, only trailing Sonic the Hedgehog and Detective Pikachu. In comparison, Warcraft only made 47.4 million in the U.S. So it says that Uncharted, meanwhile, has already been labeled Sony Pictures' next franchise. So definitely, we are going to be able to expect some sequels. But yeah, man,
Good.
like I said, man, the Uncharted, it was so good. I am actually a huge fan of Tom Holland now, man. Like this guy right now can.
He's so great.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's great as Spider Man. Obviously, there was another movie I can't remember exactly. What was it? I forget where they can't really they can see each other's thoughts. So even though they're not speaking, they can see their
Hmm.
thoughts in visual above their heads, and that was actually a really good movie. The ending I didn't like as much, but it was definitely something that Tom Holland was great in. Again, and then in Uncharted, he just plays a great Nathan Drake. There's even a lot of Easter eggs where Nolan North, who's the voice actor for Drake in the video games, he was in the movie. He had like a 15-20 minute clip, and if you don't know who Nolan North is, you're just like, oh, it's just another guy at the beach. But if you know who he is, I was geeking out. My wife was there watching me. I was like, oh shoot, babe, look, it's Nolan North. She's like, okay, you know what I mean? So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's definitely that's cool to see, man. I hope you know video game movies get a bad rap a lot of the times.
Yes.
Halo's coming out soon. This is going to be a TV series. So far, it's getting average scores. Nothing great. We will be reviewing that later this week, so stay tuned. It's more than likely going to be either Thursday or Friday night. But what other video game movies for you? I mentioned a few here that have done better or worse than Uncharted. Which one stand out for you, man? Like, what's one of your favorite video game movies?
Ooh, honestly, I've tended to stay away from them. Because
Fair
I play
enough.
video games a lot. Whenever I have my free time, I'm on the game. I always have high expectations whenever they port them to movies, and I'm like, is it gonna meet my expectation of the game? This is what I've played, this is what I've seen, and this is what I've felt. Am I gonna get that from the movie? It
Yeah.
was different when, like, now it's not a game, but per se, a book I read, it's called The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Post-apocalyptic, beautiful book. I loved it. A movie came out for it. I watched it, and you could definitely get the differences and the similarities in it. And
Right.
I actually didn't hate the movie. Um, when it comes to video games, I get very, very leery because there's just a different level of expectation there for me since most of my time, is spent there. So I think, I'm going to definitely get out of my comfort zone and start watching them a lot more.
I definitely would.
Um,
Yeah. Highly
yeah,
recommend.
and I feel like um, even though Ready Player One wasn't based off of a certain game,
Right.
um, it was very, very well done. And
Agreed.
I didn't even hate Wreck-It Ralph. Believe it or not,
Oh,
that
that was
was
really good too.
actually,
Yeah.
there was a bunch of comedic relief in there with, you see Bowser and the Devil and Ralph, and they're all just having like this, um, what is that? That huge session where they sit in a circle.
I
Um,
know what you're talking about. I can't remember exactly,
yeah,
but yeah.
that part was funny, and I didn't hate it. So I'm looking forward to this Mario movie coming out. Hopefully that it's good. I'm gonna jump on that Uncharted, and hopefully this FNAF movie. Whenever we get word about it, hopefully that's good too.
Which
So
movie?
I'm definitely gonna step out my realm. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh,
Sorry, I
I'm
said
like
FNAF.
FNAF. I'm like, what?
Yeah, yeah, it's the abbreviation for
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
don't even want
yeah.
to say
I
a
got it.
really,
I
really
got it.
long
Yeah.
name, but um I'm definitely gonna step out my comfort zone and get into watching some of them. Whether or not, they meet my expectations, I still feel like getting to watch them would definitely be an experience.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like I said, I always go into stuff where I don't care if the movie's bad, man. If I enjoyed the movie, right? Uncharted, is it a great movie? Is it going to win any Oscars? Is it going to win any awards? Probably not. But did I enjoy the crap out of this movie? Absolutely, man. This movie, you go in and it's like, I can't wait for part two. I can't wait to see what part two is going to bring, And a lot of the
Yeah.
movie actually reminds me of the game. They did take a lot of the, cinematic scenes from the game and put it straight into the movie. And then they had some that were just in the movie but felt like they could have been in the game. You know what I mean? So that's something
Yep.
for me that, you have to go in with an open mind for a lot of these because more than likely a video game a movie adaptation of a video game is probably not going to be a 10 out of 10. Now there's
Right.
movies,
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog, it was great. It wasn't the best movie ever, but I loved it. Detective Pikachu, I loved it. Rampage,
Yep.
that was great. That was live action too. And that was like really good with The Rock. And so I usually just go into them with like a very open mind, and I say, man, I enjoyed the movie or I didn't enjoy it. So, and that's how I'll go into Halo as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, so moving on to the next story, we have, let's see here. Steam Deck now supports Xbox Cloud. We spoke about this last week about how do we feel about the Steam Deck, and will will we ever be able to play the Xbox on it? I'm like, man, I might get one if I can play all my Xbox games on there. I definitely may end up getting a Steam Deck just to see if I'm going to enjoy it as much as I enjoy the Switch. But Steve Watts writes, it's not quite Game Pass on Steam Deck, but it's pretty close. Steam Deck already supports a ton of games, but now you can add Xbox Cloud Gaming Service to that list. Microsoft says it worked closely with Valve to enable cloud gaming support, which is now available through Microsoft's Edge browser in beta. The new addition means that any game that runs through Xbox Cloud Service can now be played on the handheld system from Valve, which is a lot of them. Trust me, I tried to play some on my phone and I didn't like it, but Microsoft put out detailed instructions on how to get Edge up and running on your Steam Deck, how to switch the controller layout to recognize the gamepad, and even a piece of custom artwork you can use to set up a shortcut. This is how Game Pass eventually came to iOS devices through a shortcut button made by a Safari browser. But keep in mind that since you're tinkering with Linux command lines to change permissions, if you do something wrong, you may need to do a factory reset. But man, that's huge, man. That's huge. Like 150, I think there's over 100 games at least that you can play through the
Yeah.
cloud, and a lot of them like Forza Horizon, Control, Doom, Hades. These are games that game of the year games. So that's something that it's very exciting to me, man. I don't have a Steam Deck. I probably won't get one to either very late this year, if I get lucky, or early next year if I can get one. But I am more excited now than I was even a week ago about possibly getting a Steam Deck, because if I can get something that's going to run games that look great as opposed to the Switch. Don't get me wrong, I love my Switch, but let's be honest, it's not the best looking
Yeah.
console out there, right? So
Yep.
if the Steam Deck can run these games, and obviously that does, your Wi-Fi connection means a lot on, how well it runs.
Yeah.
But I am super excited to get a Steam Deck now that I can have Xbox, cloud, and play all these games that I already have, including the Steam Deck games. So, but I mean,
Yeah.
does this excite you at all about getting a Steam Deck at some point?
I don't know because my mind has been set on like I think it's like two different consoles right now, and I'm torn between what I want to get first. I'm just like you. I like collecting things, and games is a big thing that I like collecting, and I've been torn between getting that new Switch OLED or that digital Xbox, the new one that just came out. Um, the Steam Deck definitely does sound really promising. Definitely, it's a handheld. You can play on the go and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, am I going to get it right away? Definitely not.
right.
Do I see myself getting it? Definitely
Yeah,
sometime. Um, it's just a matter of time when. Like I said, I'm really torn between this OLED and the One S.
yeah.
So
Man,
right now that the Steam Deck is
if I had
just
to help you choose the OLED, let's see, the OLED's 350, right? You have two switches already, a light and a, well, you know what? Who am I
yep.
talking about? You already have this and that. I have, I have, I have, I have,
Look
I have,
behind you.
I have seven of everything. So you know what? Get the
Yeah.
OLED, get the S, whatever. But honestly, so the OLED, I do want the OLED. I have the original Switch. I don't have the light. But my wife loves playing like Animal Crossing and stuff like that. So I thought about giving her that one, and then I keep the OLED. But I also kind of want to get an S for, you know, outside the man cave. Put it in the bedroom, and
Yeah.
when I don't want to come all the way down here, I just play some Halo upstairs. The reason I want to get an S even more now, they just released a screen for it. Now it's not an Xbox official screen, and it's a little pricey. It's like $200, but man, this thing is
Yes.
beautiful, man. It fits perfectly on the S, and the S isn't big.
Mhm.
It's maybe the size of my laptop, if not smaller. But this thing is portable. You don't need an extra power source, and it looks great. I've seen a lot, and I'm actually really tempted if I do get an S to get that screen, and then I can, one, it's take it with me anywhere I want to go, and two, if the wife is on the TV, I can be on the the Xbox can be in my lap, and I'm just playing with that. So, but
Yeah.
I'm also very tempted. I really do want the OLED as well, but again, it's like, man, it's just so much out there right now, and I've been trying to slow down on all the buying, but I am definitely excited for this new the xCloud on Steam Deck. I'm excited for the OLED. Definitely getting the white controller one with the white dock. And
Yeah.
then, the S, eventually it will be mine. I will get that screen. You'll come to my house and you'll be like, oh, so you got it, huh? But you know how that goes.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
so, but last but not least, man, what's the surprise game that may or may not, it seems like it will be coming to the Switch?
All right. So, last week, I did go over two games. One of them was Tokyo, Ghostwire Tokyo, and the big one was Hogwarts Legacy. Lo and behold, this big game is supposedly getting ported to the Switch. It's huge,
That's nuts.
and it's a very very large game. Okay. If you look out on Amazon now, you can actually see pre-orders are out. $60 out on Amazon, you can pre-order the game. People aren't too sure what it's going to be like, if it's going to be cloud service or if it's going to be, directly on the Switch. But um,
If I had
coming
to
from
guess, not to cut you off, but that's
mhm,
going to be a huge, 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 huge game. Right.
yeah,
It's going to be
you know,
large. It's going to
yeah,
be
very very large.
large. So there's There's not. I don't think that's going to be on the disc. That's definitely going to be a cloud game.
Yeah,
Which again, I love physical. So, but man, that seems like a game I would love to play on the Switch. Especially that new OLED I'm
yeah.
about to go buy right after we finish here. So, what I mean. But anyways, not to cut you off.
No, you're good. So earlier this week, Warner Bros. Put out a statement confirming the release on Switch. Now, I do realize that I said it may or may not. We don't have a set date. That's why I said that. We literally have no other information on this. It's just it came out of the blue. They went ahead. They said that Hogwarts Legacy's coming out. They gave us trailers. They said, all the consoles that it was going to be on, and they were like, "Hey, guess what? It's going to be on PS5, Xbox, PC, PS4. Have at it. Looks like a great game, right?" And then out of nowhere, Warner Bros. Is like, "Oh, guess what? It's also coming to the Switch." And we're like, "Wait a second, you didn't say this before." Um, and like I said, not many details came out after that. We really don't know much about what's going on.
Right.
But um, the author of the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling, um, she doesn't have any major influence on this, believe it or not.
I've heard.
Um, she has no key part of the game development or the storyline, but supposedly it does stay true to what her original story was for like Hogwarts and stuff. So it does similarly follow what she made.
Okay.
She entrusted Portkey Games with the design and the creation of the game. She entrusted to Warner Bros. And any other developers involved. So she's just kind of giving it to them and
Yeah.
just like, look, this is mine. I hope you make it as good as I want it to. Now, that means very little to Harry
Right.
Potter fans because not many people like J.K. Rowling anymore. As we had said before about what's going on with some very sketchy things and um, kind of some of the statements that she did put out that are anti-trans and stuff like that. She has not been seen in the brightest of light with her fan base. So this game could literally be a hit or miss, and people finding out that she doesn't have as big of a influence on the game might actually give it a bit more of a boost, knowing that she's not part of it. Um, Now I do know out on Twitter, Alley Oop or Alley Gaming. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I had all my notes here and everything refreshed.
Well, one thing.
Um,
So I did hear that she has very little to do with the game, which is good. Um, Obviously, she's still going to collect a big fat check, for every single
oh my
game.
God,
She
yeah,
if she hasn't already gotten paid for the rights of Harry
right,
Potter, and then she's probably going to get residual income from it and all that. But one thing that I did read, which I found hilarious, and I'm glad they're doing, the developers are allowing you to make your character however you want them. So they're going to have a creative character. You can make them a guy, a girl. It can be transgender. You can have your own pronouns. So he, him, she, her, they, them. And I am so glad they are sticking it to her in this game,
yes,
even though it's her, you know, her characters and her
yeah,
comes from her book. I'm so glad they're doing that. But yeah, man, I didn't mean to cut
yep.
you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. That's it's like I said, it's good to know that they're making her game, her story base kind of come true. But they're also like, guess what? You're not part of this.
Yeah.
We're gonna do what we want,
Right.
and this is it's inclusive. It lets people feel how they want to feel. It includes them,
Yep.
and that's definitely a big seller of the game.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
definitely going to help the sales of the
yeah,
game because if people, like you said, people know, all right, she has little to nothing to do with this, um, they might actually go out and buy the game, and
yeah,
that's good. To help the developers and the people that help make the game because it takes a lot of people to make this game. But people still need to realize there's still a big chunk of change going in her pockets. You know what I mean?
oh
But
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like, what do you do? Damn if you do, damn if you don't. At this point, it's like, if you want to play the game, go buy the game, have fun. You know what I mean? But also, if you don't agree with her, speak out. That's it.
Yep.
So
Yep. So Alley Oop from Alley Oop Games on Twitter went and added Finch Strife on Twitter and asked him a question, and he said, with the official FAQ getting updated, are you able to share any details on Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch? He then went on and asked, for example, will it be cloud based or will it run natively on the system? Um, and so then Chandler Wood, part of the Warner Bros. Avalanche community, he's actually the manager, replied, we don't have any more details right now, except to confirm that yes, Hogwarts Legacy is coming to the Switch. So that is like a good confirmed there. And I'm actually kind of looking here in the Twitch chat, and I am Bob 187 is saying that it says to come out on the holiday of 2022. Which, I mean, let's be honest, that's not
that's
too far from
right,
here.
and that's prime gaming
Um,
time. Like that's the perfect time
yeah,
to release really any game, especially something as large as this. People are going to buy it for Christmas presents. They're going to buy it from themselves, and
yep. People are
I
gonna eat it
always
up.
right. I always find a reason. Black Friday. It's like Black Friday is never for anyone else but myself, and you know what I mean. Like I'm buying movies, I'm
Yeah,
buying games, and you're usually the easy one to buy for. I'm like, Deathloop. There goes Brian's gift. You're always the first one. Everybody else is
yep.
like, but yeah, man, it's that's definitely a great time to release that game. It'll definitely boost sales. And let's face it, man, Harry Potter is one of the biggest IPs on planet Earth, so it's going to sell.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So,
Oh
but
yeah.
that's cool. That's coming out to almost like GameCube, because you played a
I
Harry Potter game on
wish.
the GameCube back
Yeah,
then.
I
That's why I
did.
was thinking about that. But it's cool. It's coming out to the Nintendo Switch, man. But I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be a cloud game. You know what I mean? Which sucks because you're going to get a case with a pamphlet inside with a code. You know, there will be no
Yeah.
physical release for that or anything like that. But
Yep.
we'll see. I don't know, man. I feel like, do I play it on the Switch and can sit in bed and play a game like this, or do I get it for the PS5 or Xbox where it's going to be like look the best? You know what I mean? So,
Right. Yep.
but yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I definitely don't think I'm gonna get it on the Switch. If I do get it, I'm most likely gonna get it on my PS5 because I want to experience it in all its glory. Um, I want those graphics.
So I'm
Um,
laughing right now because I am Bob, who's John. He was on one of our video game podcasts, probably the first one actually. So we've
yeah.
worked
Yep.
together for a long time, and we're what 16 years apart now, and
Mhm.
what now we've always been
Yeah.
16 years apart. What am I talking about now? But
Yeah.
he said we work Moses, and then he put in quotes, which I've actually said to him. I'll be back. Going to buy my brother a PS4 for Christmas. And you know what? No lies there, man. I pride myself in that. I bought you your first 360 with like first,
Yep.
and I got it hacked, and you
Yep.
got
I
like
still have
you
it.
probably had like 350 games with it. I bought you
Yep.
I gave you a bunch of GameCube. I bought you your PS4. What the hell else did
You
I
got me
get
my
you?
PS3,
Your
the Uncharted
PS3. That's
edition.
right, Uncharted Edition.
Yep.
That's right. I bought that.
I
So
remember the hacked DS game that had an
oh,
SD
that's
card on
right.
it
The
with
SD
like
card that had
60 games.
yep. Oh
Yeah,
man, those were the days.
most of my stuff I can literally just give it to you because you got it all
Oh, that's
for me.
funny.
I
But
still play all of them to this day.
it's funny because I do remember like saying that, and then Bob's like, "Yo, can I be your brother?" You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Nah, that's Hey, man, that's what I love to do. So, but anyways, but yeah, man. I think this will be a game that I'm gonna have to end up checking out because I'm actually watching this
Yeah.
trailer as we're talking here on YouTube, and man, this thing looks dope. This thing looks dope, man. But I digress, man. But hey, guys, thank you for tuning in. Um, it's been actually this was a really good podcast today. We had great topics. The chat chimed in and had a lot of laughs. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, you're watching live on twitch.tv/, the Entertainment Plaza. This will be up on YouTube in about an hour and a half, and then it'll be up on podcast services around the globe, either really late tonight or really early tomorrow morning.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
If you'd like to know when they are up on YouTube and on all the podcast services. Just follow us on Facebook at the Entertainment Plaza Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at the Entertainment Plaza Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at the Entertainment Plaza Podcast. And soon, I don't know when, but I'm working on a TikTok. We're going to put short videos from our podcast on there. It's a lot of work, but man, it's something I love to do. So I appreciate
Mr.
you.
Worldwide.
Yes, sir. That's right. Mr. 717, not 305. So Mr. 717. But hey, man, this is Moses, a.k.a. Mr. 717, a.k.a. Mick Boppy. You are...
I'm Brian, aka Psychosix, and when we get these news, we'll definitely keep you up in the loop. So stay tuned, guys, because we're going to have a bunch of information for you on our next podcast.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.
Peace.